scene on the scene, then this is where it's at.
Tell him, Schwitty.
Yeah, movie stars, royalty. In fact, if you've got it, and I mean if, then St. Moritz is the place to come for your winter hauls. I'm here, everybody, I'm here. I've arrived in St. Moritz. Hello. No, me. No, Schwitty, me.
Hello! On today's Blue Peter, we are literally on top of the world at the world's most glamorous ski resort, St. Moritz.
Where else?
Of course, it's the birthplace of winter sports.
Coming up, I'll be shooting down Europe's longest toboggan run.
And I'll be testing my nerve riding head first down a world-famous 80-mile-an-hour ice chute, Switzerland's Cresta Run.
We'll also be going to school with some Swiss children and discovering an ancient forgotten language. As if skiing and snowboarding weren't big enough challenges, there's a new British invention on the slopes, and it's this, the ski cart. It's basically a cross between a toboggan and a pair of skis. And I've been assured that it's very, very simple to use. You simply strap it to your leg and off you go. As they say in St. Moritz, auf Wiedersehen. Oh, I hope I see you again anyway. Ah! Oh, how do I stop? Ah! That'll be how then. It's much the same feeling as when you're on a toboggan, but the great thing with this is when you get to a corner, you don't have to get off and turn it manually as you do with a toboggan. You just steer it with your feet. Well, that's what you're meant to do anyway. But isn't it always the way? No chairlifts when you need them. Oh. Bye!
Nowadays, St. Moritz is an international skier's paradise, but you need a bob or two. Cheers. Lemonade, of course.
The minute you walked in the joint, I could see you were a man of distinction, a real big spender, good looking, so refined. Say, wouldn't you like to know what's going on in my mind? So let me get right to the point. I don't pop my cork for every man I see. Hey, big spender, spend a little time with me.
I just hope he's getting my best side.
But St. Moritz hasn't always been a ski resort with luxurious hotels and glamorous restaurants. 100 years ago, there wasn't a chairlift in sight. Just lots of tiny rural villages cut off from the outside world by the dramatic mountain peaks. In wintertime, life was hard, with the ground constantly covered in meters of snow. This isolated part of the Swiss Alps is known as the Engadine Valley. Last century, people wouldn't have dreamt of making the treacherous journey across the Alps to come here in the freezing winter. Towards the end of the last century, tourists began to venture into the Swiss mountains during summer to enjoy the stunning landscape and to go for healthy hikes and bathe in the springs. The British came too, looking for alpine adventures. It was at this time that a local hotel owner, Johannes Badroet, told a group of British tourists that they were missing the best time of the year by coming in the summer. He challenged them to come in the winter, offering them free accommodation. Doubtful, they set off expecting extreme weather conditions. They found wall-to-wall sunshine and stayed till Easter. It was the beginning of winter tourism in the Alps, and ever since, the British have been at the centre of the developing mania for snow sports. Those with money, that is.
What really put this part of Switzerland on the tourist map was the arrival of the railway, and this one is truly spectacular. It climbs from the town of Chur to St. Moritz, nearly 2,000 metres up in the mountains, via a staggering array of engineering masterpieces, bridges, viaducts and tunnels. It was British engineering expertise that built the Swiss railways, and almost a century later the mountain railways are still considered a major engineering feat. Well, apart from taking in the superb view and finding out what it's like to take a train through the mountains, my journey is taking me to the village of Preda, where Europe's longest toboggan run begins. It runs for 5 kilometres down the mountains to the town of Bergen. Hello? Anyone home? No? Oh, they left the toboggans out, look. Ah, and that'll be mine then. Marvellous. Come on, you. 5 kilometres you've got to take me. As the train makes its impressive journey down to Bergen, winding its way through mountains and along valleys, the toboggan run goes almost straight downhill. But to beat the train, you've got to get your technique together. Easier said than done. Oh, just what you need after a 5 kilometre toboggan ride. Nice cup of hot chocolate. And that was sensational, really fast and stunning scenery. Scenery that reminds me of one of my favourite films as a child. In fact, it was actually filmed here in Bergen. What is it? Heidi.
The isolation of the villages in the valleys of Graubünden means that life here has stayed the same for centuries. In 15 BC, the Romans came across the mountains from Italy and conquered these valleys. They named them Rhaetia. Their presence here all those centuries ago is still felt because the ancient language they left is still spoken. It's called Romansh and is very similar to Latin, the language of the Romans. 70,000 people still speak it in the valleys, and it's the 4th official language of Switzerland, after German, French and Italian. Buondì. Buondì. Allegra.
Però Florin fa stera del con boccia aperta. In un'ora da quint ho detto il magister.
The children at this primary school in Celerina speak Romansh as their first language and are taught in it. If you go to school in this part of Switzerland, break time is never dull. I spoke to Urs and Ladina, 2 pupils at the school. Ladina, what's it like living here in the mountains?
I'm really happy living here, especially in the winter. I can ski. I can go practically anywhere on skis from my front door. I wouldn't change places with people living in the city. It's not as if we live in isolation here. We know exactly what's going on in the rest of the world.
Urs, what's it like learning a language like Romansh that not actually many people speak?
I
love the language. It's really attractive. And because not many people speak it, it can be very useful. When ice hockey teams come from the lowlands, I can tell my friends what to do, and the other team doesn't understand what I'm saying.
With snow on the ground almost half the year, you're on skis and skates as soon as you can walk. On Wednesday afternoons, Urs and Ladina go to the local ice rink to perfect their skating skills. Watch out, we're coming through!
Oh my goodness me!
Bit of an emergency
Lucky
stop
that
there.
one was there, Stuart.
Absolutely. Now, one of the best things about going to school here in St Moritz are all the different winter sports you can try.
Absolutely. I mean, at home we have PE, and what do we do? Netball, football. But here in St Moritz, oh no, ice skating on Wednesday afternoon. So, Urs, you actually represent St Moritz in the ice hockey team. How's the team doing?
I play for the St Moritz junior team. We are doing really well at the moment. We're third in the league. I play in defence and practice 3 times a week.
British winter tourists who came to St Moritz were a daredevil lot. Each year they would construct a steep and exhilarating toboggan run to test their daring against challengers from nearby places like Davos. In 1885 they built one that came to be known as the Cresta, named after one of the villages it travelled through. 112 years on, and the Cresta Run is the most famous toboggan run in the world, the ultimate test of human nerve.
Time of 59:03. 59:03.
Competitors hurl themselves down the iced chute at speeds of up to 80 miles an hour. The 3/4-mile course twists and plunges down the mountain. Racing starts early in the morning and finishes around lunchtime when the ice starts to melt. The riders were competing for the Escalante Cup, and the pace was terrifying. Following in the tradition of daredevil Blue Peter presenters, slip-sliding Stu is going to conquer the Cresta.
Well done, Paul. Paul, hello, nice to meet you.
Hello
Stuart
there.
Miles from Blue Peter.
Hi.
Nice to. I knew you instantly. You see, by your badge.
It's 30 years old.
Brilliant. That's brilliant news. So, how was that run? Oh. Yes!
Great.
Is that an improvement on last time?
Yes, it is.
Brilliant.
That's my fastest time ever.
Excellent. Well done. Paul Glander had won the Escalante Cup with a little help from his 30-year-old Blue Peter badge. Who better to give me some Cresta tips? Congratulations on the cup. I'm obviously in very good hands. So can you give me any tips and advice about doing this run?
Well, you'll be starting here at junction, and you'll be making a lying start, and you'll be raking with muscle force until you get round our safety valve, which is shuttlecock, and at that point you'll lift your feet and ride to the end of the run.
How in control of the steering are you?
Reasonably so. You have to move your body weight a little bit to move from side to side on the run to keep yourself away from the edges of the run.
Prize giving at the Sunny Bar.
And then posting his first ever 45, the winner of the Escalante Cup, Paul Glander.
The St Moritz Toboggan Club is an old-fashioned, very British institution. So even if Katie had wanted to go, she wouldn't have been allowed. It's men only on the Cresta.
2, 3, boom!
A last chance for me to get to know the course before tomorrow's downward plunge.
you sure this is such a good idea, walking the course?
Well,
it looks a bit hideous if you
it's
ask me.
it's making me more scared than ever, I think. But it is a good idea because I can see where all these tough corners are. Like that shuttlecock up there, and this one here looks like it's stream corner. Okay, that's it.
Does that help at all?
I think it has.
Oh, food. But you'd never ask.
Till tomorrow. Right, where are you taking me?
Well, this man has spent days doing an ice sculpture of me. Oh.
It's more like Michael Jackson than you.
Charming. St. has got some fantastic restaurants, and you cannot possibly leave Switzerland without sampling two of the country's most famous inventions since the cuckoo clock, fondue and raclette. Vielen Dank.
Gute.
Thank you. Fondue stew.
Don't mind if I do.
Oh, he's such a poet.
This will be good for my energy levels tomorrow.
Dig
There we are. Let's try
How are you
this.
doing?
Now, it's basically it's a cheese sauce, isn't it, Katie? Yeah?
Yeah, there's a bit of wine and various Swiss spices in there, I think.
I mean, just dip your bread in and it's gorgeous, actually.
Put your bread on the fork, but the rule is whoever loses the bread at the bottom has to do the washing up.
Well, I'll fish in there. What are these, Katie?
Well, this down here is called raclette, and what would normally happen is someone would come in with half a cheese, melt half the cheese in front of the fire, and then slice off all the melted bit onto your plate, covered with potatoes and salad.
Very clever, that, isn't it?
Very clever. I haven't even eaten anything yet because I've been doing too much talking, as usual.
Well, today's the day. It's 7 o'clock in the morning and I've just arrived from my training. The old butterflies in my stomach have started going because there's no going back now. But I think if I get on with the training and I pay attention, then hopefully that's going to make me feel more confident. But the first thing to do is to get kitted up. I'm all padded up now. I've got my helmet, my goggles, my gloves, and my hand guards. All I need to do now is take my official form to sign in and get my safety briefing. The briefing was given by the club's secretary, Lieutenant Colonel Digby Willoughby.
Right, gentlemen, welcome to the St. Maurice Tobogganing Club and the Cresta Run. Now, a lot of what goes on here today may seem rather peculiar, but there's a reason for every single thing that happens on the Cresta Run. And gentlemen, it is to do with safety. And these are all accidents on the Cresta Run. Down there you can see our president, Lord Bledisloh's foot, your instructor's left femur, right femur, and one shoulder. And gentlemen, those 3 bits of steel up there are 3 of the 5 that still connect my head to my body. These are all accidents on the Cresta Run. Now let's get on with your instructor, who is on your right. Mr. von Bohlen und Halbach is a very experienced rider, a very experienced instructor. Listen to his every word.
If you see that you're drifting to the left and you're going to hit on the left, you lean to the right, and vice versa. That's your program for the first ride. Lots. Are you lots? Yes, you are dressed up and listening out.
See, I've just got to remember to rake a lot and then get out of shuttlecock corner and just hope the things don't throw me around too much.
Yeah? Good. Hals und Bein.
Thanks.
Lots.
Stuart, how are you feeling?
Oh, well, I'm having to watch everyone else go because I think I'm probably last to go, which is the
Oh,
worst.
but they're saving the best till last.
For my first run, I was told to aim for a time of 70 seconds.
And miles to the box.
All the way.
There was no going back now.
More than 90 degrees. That's good. Have fun.
Thank you.
Okay? Gently spin to the box.
A small bump early on, but that was nothing compared with what was to come.
Wow! It's amazing! I tell you what, I was putting my feet in before Shuttlecock Corner, and I thought, I'm going far too fast, I'm going far too fast, I'm going to come off. But as soon as I got past Shuttlecock Corner and let it go, it's absolutely amazing.
And well done, Miles. Title of excellent, the excellent Miles of 69.
69! Yes, I beat the 70!
Stuart got a 6994, heading for 70. That's the closest that any of the beginners have got.
Yes! Katie, it's Stuart, can you hear me?
Congratulations, I'm so proud.
Hey, we beat the 70!
You were fantastic. I'm so proud of you, and I tell you, my heart was beating so hard, you wouldn't believe.
I think my heart's left my body.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Then it was back to the top for some further tuition before a second run to improve on my time.
As you come by the Tribune, I tell you to take the left hand back, and then you are ideal. If you manage that, you have a nice line coming out of Shuttlecock, and you will go up, and out at the tail end.
Well, that was number 2. No bruises that time, but I came into Shuttlecock Corner and I came up really high and I was raking, and then I dipped back down and hit this side again against the wall, but I managed to put this out. Look at that dent, that's probably what happened.
Welcome, the excellent Miles. I've got great news for you.
Yeah.
Your first run, the challenge was to get the closest to 70, and out of all the beginners, you were the closest. And your second run, you've just shaved 2 seconds off your first
2
time.
seconds, wasn't it? 2 seconds off there.
How was it?
It's, I can't, there's nothing like it. I couldn't begin to describe to you the sensation, but there is nothing like it in the world, and it's certainly something that I'll be having dreams about for many more years to come.
Is
it's
it
brilliant,
frightening?
absolutely brilliant. Oh, frightening, definitely. Frightening, terrifying, everything else, but brilliant at the same time. Well, that's it from St Moritz and, of course, the Cresta Run.
Yeah, we've had a fantastic time.
We've had a brilliant time.
But we will be back in the studio on Monday. But for now, from the Swiss Alps, auf Wiedersehen.
Bye-bye.
Bye.